Hello everyone, and a massive welcome back to the channel Future Force Skies and Skills. If you're new here, please do consider subscribing and liking my videos. It truly helps the channel grow and allows us to bring you more content like this. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most talked about vehicles in the conflict zone. A machine that has become a symbol of both resilience and vulnerability, the Kremen Bridge. The big question on everyone's mind is, with the recent footage of it under intense fire, has it received its final blow? We're going to analyze it from every angle to find out, starting with the exterior, the Kremen Bridge, or the KZKT-7428 Rychag, is an absolute behemoth that commands attention. This is not a subtle vehicle, it's a massive 8x8 heavy-duty truck and tank transporter built for one primary purpose, moving immense weight across punishing terrain. Its design is purely functional, a no-nonsense approach to heavy logistics. The long flatbed trailer is the star of the show, a multi-axle system designed to distribute the colossal load of a main battle tank. The cab is high and square, offering the driver a commanding view of the road ahead, which is essential for maneuvering such a long and heavy combination. The overall construction appears rugged, with a focus on durability over aesthetics. We see heavy-duty steel bumpers, large utilitarian headlights, and a chassis that looks like it could withstand a direct hit from a small asteroid. The paint scheme is typically a simple military green, but in the field, it's often caked in mud and dust, a testament to its hard work. Recent footage, however, shows a different story on its exterior. The telltale signs of shrapnel damage, scorch marks from near misses, and in some tragic cases, the catastrophic damage from a direct artillery or drone strike that has led to its demise. Now, let's step inside, because the interior of the Kremen Bridge is a fascinating study in contrasts. On one hand, it's a Spartan, utilitarian space that hasn't changed much from Soviet-era design philosophies. You are not going to find leather seats, a touchscreen infotainment system, or ambient lighting here. This is a cockpit for work, pure and simple. The driver sits in a tall, commanding position, surrounded by a sea of analog gauges and manual controls. You have large, clear dials for speed, RPM, oil pressure, and air pressure for the braking system, which is absolutely critical for a vehicle of this size. The steering wheel is enormous, requiring significant physical effort to turn, and it's connected to a manual transmission with a gear lever that looks like it could belong in an industrial piece of machinery. The sheer number of knobs, levers, and switches for managing the trailer, winches, and other auxiliary systems is daunting. The materials are all hard-wearing plastics and metals designed to be easily cleaned and repaired in a field workshop. There's no sound deadening to speak of, meaning the roar of the large diesel engine is a constant companion, along with the rattles and creaks from the chassis working over rough ground. However, for its time, it did have some thoughtful features. The cabin is surprisingly spacious, often configured to allow for a small sleeping area behind the seats, crucial for long-haul logistics runs. The windows are massive, providing excellent all-around visibility, which is not just a convenience but a vital safety feature. While it lacks any modern comforts, the design's simplicity is its greatest strength in a combat zone. There's very little that can go wrong electronically, and most repairs can be performed by a competent mechanic with basic tools. It's a time capsule of functional, brutalist industrial design. When it comes to performance, the Kremen Bridge is all about torque and grunt, not speed. It's powered by a massive V12 diesel engine, often a model like the AMZ 8401, which can produce over 700 horsepower. This might sound impressive, but remember, this vehicle fully laden with a tank can weigh over 100 tons. So, its 0 to 60 time is best measured with a calendar, not a stopwatch. Its top speed on a good road is maybe 40-45 miles per hour, and it will get there very, very slowly. The fuel consumption is astronomical. We're talking gallons per mile, not miles per gallon. But raw speed is not the point. The performance metrics that matter here are gradability, fordability, and traction. This thing can climb steep, muddy inclines that would stop most other vehicles in their tracks, thanks to its all-wheel drive system and incredibly low-geared transfer case. It can ford through deep water, and its multiple axles on the trailer help to distribute the ground pressure, allowing it to traverse soft ground without sinking. The true performance of the Kremen Bridge is measured in its ability to deliver a 45-ton T-72 tank to the front lines, a task it performed reliably for decades. But this low-speed, high-profile nature is also its greatest tactical weakness on the modern battlefield, making it a sitting duck for aerial reconnaissance and drone attacks. In terms of safety features, by modern civilian standards, it's virtually non-existent. There are no airbags, no anti-lock brakes in the modern sense, no traction control, and certainly no autonomous emergency braking. The primary safety feature is its sheer mass and robust construction. The thinking was that if you're in a collision, the other vehicle is going to come off worse. For the crew, the cab is made from thick steel, which offers some protection against small arms fire and shell splinters. Some models may have had provisions for adding additional armor plates. The braking system is a complex multi-circuit air-over hydraulic system, which is powerful but can be slow to respond compared to modern systems. The real safety concern, as we've seen starkly in recent conflicts, is its complete lack of defense against top-attack munitions, kamikaze drones, and long-range artillery. There is no active protection system, no slat armor to defeat shaped charges, and no electronic warfare suite to jam incoming drone signals. Its safety relied on operating in secured rear areas, a concept that has been completely overturned by the long-range precision fires of modern warfare. This vulnerability is at the very heart of the question: is this the final blow? The unique selling points of the Kremen Bridge were always its immense payload capacity, its mechanical simplicity, and its legendary off-road capability for a vehicle of its size. It was the backbone of heavy military logistics for a generation, a tool that could go where other tank transporters feared to tread. Its simple design meant it was relatively easy to maintain and had a long service life, which is why we still see them in service today. There was simply nothing else that could do the job as effectively for the cost. However, its unique selling points have become its greatest liabilities. That same size and lack of agility make it an unmissable target, and its mechanical simplicity means it lacks the digital defenses needed to survive in the current threat environment. As for price, it's difficult to pin down an exact figure for a new one, as production has likely ceased. When they were in production, they would have cost several $100,000 per unit. However, the real cost we're discussing now is the strategic cost. The loss of a single Kremen Bridge isn't just the loss of a truck. It's the loss of its irreplaceable cargo, a main battle tank, and the highly trained crew operating it. The footage of these behemoths burning represents a catastrophic loss of both equipment and strategic capability, a loss that is incredibly difficult to replace under wartime conditions. So, is Kremen Bridge under fire the final blow? The conclusion we have to draw is a sobering one. While the Kremen Bridge was a masterpiece of Cold War heavy engineering, its design philosophy is fundamentally incompatible with the realities of 21st century warfare. The battlefield is now transparent, with drones providing constant eyes in the sky, and strikes can come from dozens of miles away. A large, slow, predictable vehicle like this cannot survive in such an environment without a massive investment in active protection and a complete rethink of its operational doctrine. The recent footage we've seen is not an anomaly, it is the new normal. This doesn't just apply to the Kremen Bridge, but to all similar legacy systems. The final blow may not have landed on every single one, but the concept it represents, the uncontested movement of heavy armor in the rear lines, has been decisively struck down. The era of the unprotected, logistical giant like the Kremen Bridge is, for all intents and purposes, over. It was a titan of its time, but time and technology have moved on.